And welcome back to the program here on Morning Thailand with Bo and Golf. And if you would allow me to continue, one of the biggest movements or issues to take a close watch on today would be the Constitution Court's ruling.
Of course.
Because apart from, the gatherings of supporting and also not supporting this movement that could go on, we also see among the senators and MPs themselves and the government a little bit of a, not a little,
division.
A big hassle, I
That's
think, right?
true.
That's going on with the conflict. Now, the Constitution Court's ruling about the Senate change, turns out that the House came out to say that they are going to reject it. And coming from the group, at least 30 of the group of senators and MPs, that's led by Grit Athit-Kaew, who is the senator for Kamphaeng Phet, as well as Amnoi Klangpa, who is the Lopburi MP for Pheu Thai Party. Together, they came out to mention about this case of the Constitution Court ruling, whether, it should even happen or not. And as for Grit, he basically said that concerning the case of the 312 of the MPs and senators that have mentioned about the changes in the charter changes here, they wanted to confirm their standpoint once again, saying that they do have the right to ask for this change, and coming out to say that the Constitution Court actually doesn't have the right to even take in the file or the petition to be considered. Now, to add to that, we hear from the House Speaker Somsak Suranon, who said that the House of the Representatives will not accept the imminent Constitution Court ruling on the legality of proposed charter changes. And to mention, the court is scheduled to give its verdict on the constitutionality of the planned charter changes, and the reforms propose the change to the way that the senators are appointed, making the Senate fully elected. So that's the main idea that's being discussed. And Mr. Somsak said that he had discussed the ruling with legal advisors to the lower house, who confirmed that the Constitution Court has no authority in order to consider the petition. The legal team also confirmed that the members of parliament, they hold the constitutional rights under the Article 291 to change the charter. And the speaker said that he had not yet discussed any action plan on how to go about for rejecting the court's ruling. He also said that he hoped that the court would give a verdict based on the principle of maintaining the democracy in which the king is head of state. He also mentioned, by the way, Mr. Somsak's two deputies, Charoen Komon and also Wisut Chainarun, were also present at the press conference that was held yesterday. So I guess it's more like both sides are saying their reason as to why they believe, what they're doing is justifiable or not. But just to add some lighter note to that concerning the Constitution Court in particular, you mentioned about the security, right? That will be held around the area, of course, because there will be some gatherings by people who do not support the Constitution Court taking in this petition. That was filed with them. As for the police in particular, they have already set up some barricades around the entrance to the Constitution Court. And apart from that, I believe that within today, there could also be some backup being called in, just in case anything goes out of control for the crowd that are going to march to the Constitution Court. While the court themselves have already prepared a huge monitor or a huge screen for the broadcast of the ruling from them. And I believe that lots of people can also go in and join in order to listen, to the ruling at the particular time. So the public are also allowed to go in. But I think that's basically the reason why they have to have these, steel barricades, because there's going to be those who oppose it and those who just want to go and listen to what's going on.
I think at this point, the securities are in place to make sure that there's not going to be a clash.
Yes,
because if the clash break out, that's one of the things that a lot of people are concerned of, and we are having to prepare for that because we have seen it before in the past, and it is not good. And at this time, you have to keep in mind that on the anti-government side at this point, there's a lot of young people that join the force as well in terms of vocational college students. So we don't want to see,
any problems.
Exactly, because sometimes they react without, having going through a lot of process and such. They just react, and that could cause a lot of problem as well. And by that time, the leader cannot really control it. All right, moving on to more in terms of the political updates. Apart from the opposition at this point, it seems like the censure debate is still a big question mark behind it, because we're not sure if that's going to happen due to the fact that the Democrat Party, the opposition party, has to submit more document if they want to have a censure debate. And this is according to Kun Somsak Kietsuranon, of course, the House Speaker, because he has come out and said that he has already been requesting more documents in terms of if the Democrat Party or the opposition party would like to debate against. And two people in particular, the Prime Ministers, Kun Yingluck Shinawatra, as well as another person is, let me see here.
Is it the Interior Minister?
Yeah, Kun Yingluck Shinawatra, as well as Kun Jarupong Rungsuwan. There you go, the Interior Minister. I'm trying to find his name there. Now they say that the House Speaker has already came out yesterday and talking about this particular set of documents, and he said that he already set a deadline. It will be to tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. That's the time that he would like to see the documents before he can actually have the censure debate motion in place. Now they say that the Democrat Party spokesman, Kun Chavanon Interakomansut, also come out and talk about this, but it is not promising. It seems like they're not going to submit more documents.
You know what? I think that the thing is there have been information being
Right.
sent to the NACC basically because they believe that that's already enough evidence
Right.
to have the censure motion. But for the Pheu Thai party in particular, or for Mr. Somsak there, he's saying that this is just like, it's going to be the Prime Minister being caught off guard. And it's not going to, allow her to have, enough time to maybe
At least
prepare.
clear herself.
At least, to see, what the issues are.
Right.
But coming from the Democrats, they say that, well, if you actually have the information, that means you're going to have time to prepare. You shouldn't have to prepare. You should also just listen to the accusations or the so-called enough evidence that the Democrats claim that they have right at that time.
That's the thing, because at this point it seems like they are arguing about the process, the regulations, different measures that they have to follow and such. And according to the House Speaker, Kun Somsak said that every time when you have to do a censure debate, you have to file in, all set of the documents to make sure that the person in questions will be able to prepare and such. However, when you talk to Kun Chavanon Interakomansut, different story. Kun Chavanon said that, well, before when we have censure debates, they're never a request of more documents, and they never have to submit more of these evidence. It is never a problem when they do file motion for a censure debate. However, at this time, the opposition party seems to believe that this is a tactic by the government to drag down the time, and they believe that due to the fact that it might be a House dissolution in sight, and that's why the censure debate was not in place. Don't forget, they have to wrap everything up by the 28th of this month. So that means that if the Democrat Party, by all means, at this point they come out saying that they're not going to submit any more, the House Speaker said that then they're probably going to have to discuss more about this on the 22nd, and that's going to drag on a little bit more. So I don't know. At this point, I think that if you want to move things faster, perhaps just, submitting all the documents and such. But there's also talk about perhaps they're going to have a debate outside the House itself. So not going to do it in the Parliament at all, but they're going to do it on the street and on a stage. So this will be one very interesting political situation here this week. That's for sure, because we're going to know finally, at least until tomorrow, whether or not the Democrat Party will submit more documents and whether or not the censure debate will be in place.
Well, the Prime Minister did come out to say that, whatever is going to be on, the table, she's ready for it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She came out to say it herself, that don't worry, people, we're not going to see House dissolution because we can control, everything is in control, and if a censure debate is to happen, then, she's ready for it.
So it seems like a lot of people are worried for her at this point.
I think so too.
All right, let's take a short break because Kun Chain will give us a little bit more details in terms of what to expect and the anticipation for today court ruling. So stay tuned.